nice, very nice. He hit him with everything he didn't want.
Ten seconds remaining.
It'll be a direct snap here.
Snap back. It's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10. 5. End zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable, gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
Things aren't always going to be great. And sometimes, you can work really, really hard and it's still not great. You're still not successful. But, if you continue to do it, one way or another, things are going to be, work out. You're going to be successful. And it may not be in the world's eyes, but, God's made us this way. He's blessed us with so many things. And I think that's one of our attributes that we need to have is we're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to work hard. And if it doesn't work out exactly how we want, just keep plugging away because God's got better plans.
Five, 3.
Rag 57! Rag 57! Hot, hot!
I don't believe what I just saw.
Bill McKenzie kicks a 38-yard field goal on the final play of the football game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
From the home of the state's land-grant institution, inside the Health Plan Studios, in the Dale B. Miller Building in Morgantown, it's time for the state's most listened-to sports talk show. This is the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. CityNet, cybersecurity experts for the digital age. And now, across the state of West Virginia and beyond, Sportsline is on the air.
And we welcome you in downtown Morgantown, Metro News Radio and Television Network Studios, 22nd day of March, 2026. Sunday Night Sportsline on the air everywhere with you. Radio stations across the states. You can also watch the show on the Metro News Television app. Travis Jones along with the coach, Greg Hunter, with you till 8 o'clock tonight. As we are wrapping up a busy basketball/baseball weekend in the University City. Although not done yet. Not done yet. We'll extend the weekend at least one more day for the Mountaineer women's basketball team as they are set to take on Kentucky in a 4-5 matchup coming up tomorrow at the Coliseum. Game is already sold out. 5 o'clock on ESPN2. Of course, to get there, the Mountaineer women dispatched of Miami of Ohio at the Coliseum yesterday in front of a record-setting women's basketball crowd. 82-54 was the final score as the Mountaineers stepped on the gas and pulled away from the Red Hawks to advance on. And now they are one win away from a historic Sweet 16 appearance. The first time since the field expanded. And the first time since 1992, the Mountaineers' only other Sweet 16 appearance. So it's all coming up in less than 24 hours. And Coach Hunter, today was the practice/media opportunities today. So I know you were over across town there at the Hope Coliseum to take that in and get us fresh tape which we'll get to listeners coming up later.
Lots of opportunity for audio today, but as you said, really 3 straight days at the Coliseum between interview sessions, practice sessions, and, of course, games yesterday. I put in my time at the Coliseum, but it's all well and good. As you said, certainly a wonderful atmosphere yesterday and what everybody had dreamed about since the Mountaineers had hoped to get another opportunity to host a regional game. First time, as you said, since '92, and the atmosphere was outstanding, and that helped propel West Virginia. The Mountaineers had a 17-0 run. They were actually trailing semi-late in the first quarter, and then all of a sudden hit a 17-0 run at that point to really flip the whole thing around. And the crowd was a big part of providing the energy in that run. So that was a lot of fun, but figures to get a whole lot more difficult tomorrow. Got a chance to see Kentucky in the first game at the Coliseum yesterday as they took care of James Madison, a lot like West Virginia did Miami. The Wildcats get out to a huge early lead and then just sort of cruised after the first quarter. But they've got as much length as you'll see in women's basketball. Starting front line, it goes 6'5", 6'5", 6'4". So they really accentuate their length, and they're skilled too. And then obviously West Virginia with their quickness. So it's going to be a battle of contrasting styles tomorrow with a berth in the Sweet 16 in Fort Worth the following Friday on the line. So should be a lot of fun. But there are a lot, I mean, I don't know if you think, maybe just a Metro News perspective, but busiest 2-3 weeks of the year.
Yeah, by far.
Between high school girls basketball, high school boys basketball. You guys finished up a great state tournament runs there, MEC, in the middle of the whole thing. So actually with just one game tomorrow, I guess it settles down a little bit.
Yeah, until, well, looking forward, the softball and baseball is going to be a little bit crazy because now there used to be at least a week separation between them, but with the expansion of the fields in softball and certainly baseball, now with 8 teams going per class, it's going to be those are going to not overlap, but they'll be, well, they could with weather, but that's going to be, another couple of week grind for the crew down in South Charleston and then on to Huntington. But that's still coming up, a couple of months away as the spring sports are just about ready to launch. A couple things here before we'll talk more about Kentucky coming up, but looking back on the history of the series, West Virginia and Kentucky have this will be only the 5th meeting between the schools. In women's basketball to proximity. The Mountaineers own a 1-3 record all time against the Wildcats. Last meeting was in 21-22 in Lexington, 83-60. This will actually be the first time West Virginia has ever hosted Kentucky at the WVU Coliseum. I go back to the 2004-2005 game. That was a game I actually called in Lexington. Wasn't at Rupp Arena. They had another alumni hall, I think, is where they play their women's basketball games. And that was the national semifinals for the women's NIT.
Okay.
And West Virginia won in overtime 80-75 and then advanced to the WNIT championship and lost to then known as Southwest Missouri State, now known as Missouri State that season. And then prior to that, played them in Iowa City in that 92-93 season, lost by 10, and then lost in Lexington in 84 and 85 by 7, 70-63. So that's even more interesting is the fact that the Wildcats never been to Morgantown.
No, they got a win yesterday, though not over West Virginia. But you're right. I believe all those games were at Memorial Coliseum, which was the arena that they used before Rupp was built. But I did see in getting ready for this game, they've moved back on the women's side to the or as they call it, historic Memorial Coliseum. That's what the official name is, and you're supposed to call it. Well, I'll do what I want. I'm going to be that guy. But anyways, they put in tens of millions of dollars into renovating it and using it for women's basketball and other sports while Rupp still hosts the men's basketball team. So anyways, as you said, West Virginia has been there. I did find it interesting in talking to Kentucky's coach, Kenny Brooks. Some great interview opportunities with him. He's in his second year at UK after great runs at James Madison, which is his alma mater, and then at Virginia Tech, taking the Hokies to a top 5 finish in a Final Four berth just a few years ago. But he's in his second year at UK, and talking to him about past memories, because he faced the Mountaineers as a player and a number of times as a coach over his tenure or his lifespan. So we'll hear some of that as well. I always like digging into that sort of backstory type stuff, and he was very accommodating, and should be an interesting, like you said, contrasts and styles tomorrow.
All right, we'll talk more about the Wildcats as we move throughout the show this evening, of course. And again, second hour, we'll have pretty heavy interviews for you, including we'll try to get you some baseball, because the other story of the weekend was the Mountaineer baseball team had great weather. They also had good crowds with everything that was going on, and they won an impressive weekend series, sweeping BYU over at Wagner Field, Kendrick Family Ballpark, winning 7-4 on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
The series was moved up due to time-wise. It was time-wise.
We moved up due to BYU doesn't play on Sunday.
Right.
So it was the Thursday, Friday, Saturday series rather than the typical Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Beat them 12-10 and come from behind fashion on Friday, and then 11-1 win in that Saturday matchup yesterday. So the Mountaineers, after losing the Penn State game due to just the wild weather we had last week here in the state of West Virginia, which Monday was. So I left to go to Charleston on Monday, midday. When I left Bridgeport, it was 62 degrees.
Okay.
When I got to Charleston, it was 37 and sleeting. So it dropped almost 30 degrees in, an hour and 50 minutes?
Yeah.
I mean, crazy.
Well, it's a
crazy
good thing
weather.
you left. I know some of the Metro News crew I talked to, because the game started Tuesday.
The roads got bad.
Yeah. They waited till Tuesday morning to try to come down and didn't make it until late in the day. So fortunate for you in that regard that you got down there. Everything went well. And like I said, sounded like a really good tournament. I want you to give us a recap of that at some point during the evening.
Yep, sure will. All right, baseball is at Jack Cook Field in Huntington on Tuesday. Weather looks good this week. I know it's going to get cold again tomorrow, or colder than today. I mean, today it feels like it's August out there, but should be able to get some baseball in this week in Huntington, and then West Virginia shouldn't have any problems after that in terms of temperature. They go all the way out to Tempe to take on Arizona State this coming weekend.
Yeah,
in a weekend series, and then stay there for the Arizona series.
Yeah,
or an Arizona one-off.
Yeah, one-off, which I think is a non-conference game, because it's a midweek game against the Wildcats as they move down to Tucson. So 4 games in Arizona starting on Friday night in the state of Arizona, 3 conference games. So this, certainly Marshall has given West Virginia plenty, especially in the games in Huntington. So that in itself should be a difficult game on Tuesday against the Herd, and then the Arizona schools are always very, very good in baseball. So Mountaineers off to a great early part of this season, but a lot of work and a lot of what this team ultimately is going to be is yet to be determined. Yep,
for sure. All right, you mentioned Charleston. I thought we had a great tournament again in Charleston. Some competitive games. Very enjoyable. I thought crowds were very, very, very good. It's not like the old days. The things have unfortunately changed. And quite honestly, when I first started going down to the boys tournament, which late 90s, I think. Let's not get into this again this week. No, wait a minute. No, you started going. No, okay. If you missed last week, you'll understand. We spent half an hour of the show arguing over a date. Used to be there were mainly gentlemen, some families, but mainly older guys. This is part of their vacation every year.
Yeah. Five buddies get down there and stay for the entire tournament.
Yeah, stay for the entire tournament. And I think there were a lot of those guys, and unfortunately they've kind of, we've lost them. They've died off, they've aged out, and people today just don't, with our busy lives and so many other things going on, I don't think that, there's still people that do that. I'm not saying that nobody does that anymore, but I just think you've lost kind of that core of people that would come to every state tournament and sit there and watch every single game.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, the crowds have eroded a little bit. Had a great session, and I apologize, the days run together. I think it was Wednesday night with some big community schools, Tug Valley, Logan, Wayne brought a great crowd. Riverside, who'd never been there, brought a tremendous crowd, brought the entire high school and all the feeder schools with them. So they decked that half of the Coliseum out in purple. So the crowds were good. So, the health of high school basketball in the state of West Virginia, I think is very good. And obviously we saw great players and great games, and the skill level, to me is what's impressive, how good these kids are. And it wasn't a great year for like Division I individual players. Eli Sankum, the player of the year in the state's headed for Liberty. I think you could have an argument, you could have a healthy argument between him and Noah Lewis from George Washington as to who's, the best player in the state. No, of course, signed with
D1
at
Wright State.
Yep.
So, you have mid-major and D1 players.
Yeah, and you got a slew of Mountain East Conference players, certainly, out there, and some young kids. But I thought it was a terrific tournament. Really did overall. All things considered, the building looked great with the new black seats, new floor. So really, really, really good in my opinion. Single A. Congratulations to the Panthers of Tug Valley, three-peating as they picked up a win over Greater Beckley Christian, 64-54, as they outscored Greater Beckley by 7 points in the fourth quarter to put the outcome to rest. Speaking of great players, Braden Ferris, who we talked about on the radio broadcast, could you write a better high school career? He scores his 2,000th point on his final free throw in the semifinals, comes back, scores 30 in the championship game, so he finishes with 2,030 high school points and 3 state championships. You can't get any better than that.
No,
right?
It's really hard. I guess you could do one better, but not in terms of 4. But what a great career and what a way to cap that. Sound like he had another great state tournament, certainly the championship game. But in listening to you guys throughout the week, sound like his entire tournament was incredibly impressive, and obviously another victory for Tug Valley.
Yep, and Tug joins a very elite list of boys teams that have won 3 consecutive state championships. Woodrow Wilson. Of course, North Fork did something that will probably never be matched.
Yeah.
They won 74 through 81. Mullins with Herbie Brooks. Wheeling Central, who also won, I'll give you those numbers, but Wheeling Central has won 3 in a row. This wasn't their 3rd in a row, but they have done it. Huntington with Patrick Patterson and O.J. Mayo. And Morgantown was the most recent to win 3 in a row. So Garland Rabbit Thompson, who's just one of the most lovely men you'll ever meet, their head coach, etches his name in history. Of note, Chapmanville won 2 in a row, and then that was the COVID year. So they got denied an opportunity to win 3 in a row because of the cancellation of the COVID tournament. Wheeling Central State Championship, which they won in Class AA, 55-39 was the final score there as they repeat as state champions and capped a 23-0 season, defeating a very good Wyoming East team. That 14th state title now makes them 2nd on the list all time in West Virginia Boys Basketball Championships, as they are closing in on Woodrow Wilson's record of 16 currently.
Wow. Impressive numbers.
Yeah, very impressive numbers. So, so just another great tournament, obviously, by Eli Sankum. Fun to watch, makes it look easy out there. He set a couple of records. He set a new state tournament record, all classes, 16 assists.
One game.
In one game. He almost had a triple-double before halftime in their first game.
Wow.
And then he got it in the second half because he was missing one rebound. Also scoring 30 – what he finished, was it 37 or 41? Let me look that up here. The game before, and the record book was a little bit confusing because there were records dating back to 2005 in one section, but then there were also other records. We found out that he had not set the Class AA scoring record. That did not happen. He had 41. I remember now because he was 9 away from Herbie Brooks' record of 50, which has stood since the 80s. And I remarked on the broadcast, I said, somebody go over and tell Mel Stevens that he's only 9 away from time.
Put him in.
And get him in because, Herbie did that against Parkersburg Catholic, my alma mater, and that record's been in the books for way too long.
You want that out of there.
It needs to come out. Yeah.
It's Crusaders, their infamy.
Been in there for a long, long time. Long time. All right, then Chapmanville held off a very stout North Marion team, which is filled with juniors, 3 juniors and 2 seniors, and they're starting 5, and really just played with a chip on their shoulder all season. But back and forth affair, and Chapmanville hangs on for a 71-67 victory. So the Tigers pick up the state championship in Class AAA. And the bad news is for the AAA field is that the guys that did the bulk of the damage, Keaton Terry, Jay Brock, for Chapmanville are all sophomores. So they're
it may
Brad
not be their last trip.
Won't be their last go around. And then we may have saved the best for last. Rematch in the Class Quad A division last night. Double overtime thriller between 2 terrific teams, George Washington and Spring Mills, as the Cardinals, with the newest high school in the state of West Virginia, trying to win their second consecutive state championship and their third straight appearance in the Quad A title game. And sophomore Dominic Sprouse was the story of the game as he scored 28 points and made all 12 of his free throws, 12 for 12 from the line, as he was the nice complement that they needed to Noah Lewis. And those teams just could not get away from each other in that game. And GW pulls away finally in the second overtime session to win the game and cap the 4th state championship in school history since 2011. So Rick Green, in his 33rd year, wins another state title, as the Cardinals, they're going to have some graduation losses. There's Xavier Anderson, of course, on that team, future Mountaineer football player. Also, Kwesi Apoku Champong, who was one of the best guards in terms of range in the state, headed to Fairmont State next season. So, but just congratulations to George Washington and Spring Mills for just a terrific display last night in the Quad A championship.
And certainly GW has been there so often, used to that. But think of the athletic year that Spring Mills almost had, losing on the football side in overtime to Morgantown.
Yep.
And now in overtime in the boys basketball, they were inches away from maybe sweeping the whole thing, but in the end, not quite there, but still a lot of congratulations all the way around.
Yep. Overtimes have not been kind to the Cardinals of Spring Mills on the state stage. All right, 6:27. That's what's going down. We'll hit the text when we come back, 304 Talk 304. Get your thoughts on the weekend. By the way, we're obviously not done with Mountaineer men's basketball yet, but we're still not close. We'll preview that next Sunday. Because the boys will not play until the following week. So I was talking, obviously Brad did 2 of the games on TV with him yesterday. He's excited for the opportunity to head out to Vegas. And I think talking with some of the players, that he's had conversations with. They're rejuvenated and ready to go try to win some money.
Yeah, and as we've seen in bowl games in football or the postseason, especially postseason if it's not the NCAA tournament, it varies on teams that really want to be there. And those that want to be there and have a little bit of enthusiasm about playing are typically the ones that are successful. So if West Virginia goes out there with a good attitude, that's sometimes half the load.
All right, 6:29. We will be back. Text lines open, 304-TALK, 304-800-765-8255. Just underway on this Sunday night. Be right back.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
The WVU Medicine Medical and Surgical Weight Loss Center offers a comprehensive surgical program to help you obtain a healthy weight and improve your quality of life. Our nationally recognized bariatrics program has a strong focus on pre-surgery education and long-term weight loss after surgery. We're here to help you every step of the way. Reserve your spot at the next free no-obligation information session by calling 304-293-1728.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You know CityNet is West Virginia's leading technology company. Whether we're managing IT infrastructures, protecting the critical data and networks of our region's businesses, or providing fiber broadband, TV, and phone services, we are your go-to experts. We're also a strong partner in the communities in which we serve. CityNet, your trusted technology partner. Learn more about us, visit citynet.net.
With Metro News Hotline, if it's trending, it's probably here.
And then the other thing, his last name is one of those weird Norwegian names where they have 2 vowels that slam into each other. It's like the A and the E are like cemented into each other.
You're like the 12th Dave that works here. What do you think people from Norwegian think about that?
That is fair.
Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
All right, Sportsline underway. 2 games in the NCAA tournament currently in action. One is at halftime involving a Big 12 team, 4-seed Kansas, currently trailing the 5-seed St. John's 34-26. Again, at halftime in that game, Tennessee and Virginia are underway. 9:42 remaining in the first half, all square at 20 in that contest. And let's take a look. See here on the women's tournament. Well, let me tell you first what you got later tonight. A great day in the tournament, NCAA tournament. I mean, talk about dream matchups. Number 9, Iowa takes on Florida. 7:10 tip there on TBS. On True TV, Jared Calhoun and Utah State will take on the Arizona Wildcats. That tip at 7:50. 8:45 tonight, the number 7 seed UCLA, number 2 seed UConn. 9:45, Texas Tech and Alabama on TBS. That'll wrap up the day. Finals from today, Purdue advanced for the win over Miami, 79-69, and Iowa State has extinguished the Kentucky Wildcats 82-63. So Kentucky finishes the year at 22-14.
So good tournament so far for the Big 12. I mean, a couple teams have gotten knocked out, but very respectable showings, I think, all around, with a bunch of victories and still a lot of these teams that you think are potentially can compete for the national championship very much alive. Kansas right now is going to be interesting because they've been such a roller coaster all year. And, I think a lot of people thought St. John's was seated way too low for where they've played this year. So could be an interesting one there. I wouldn't say that's a huge upset by any stretch if the Red Storm hangs on.
Nope, agreed. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the disrespect, honestly, to the Big East is kind of crazy. 29 wins and a 5 seed.
Yeah.
Okay, women's tournament finals. Still lacking any, major upset here. And good news for the Mountaineers. The 4s that played today against the 5s also won, including Dawn Plitzelwhite, Minnesota. They rallied. They were down 4 or 5 points a couple minutes ago, and were able to squeeze past Ole Miss, outscored them 19-9 in the fourth quarter, 65-63. So the Golden Gophers on to the Sweet 16. North Carolina defeated Maryland, another 4-5 matchup, 74-66. Duke steamrolled Baylor, 69-46. And LSU beat Texas Tech, 101-47 in the final there. So LSU with no issue whatsoever against Tech. Outscored them 33-7 in the third quarter. And Michigan defeated North Carolina State, 92-63, the final there. So, again, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the women have had one lower seed win so far.
Yeah,
that was a 10-7 game.
Yeah, exactly, of major note. And, 10-7 is not exactly a huge upset.
Number 1, Texas leading 8th seed Oregon, 36-25. 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. 8 o'clock tonight. Number 5, Michigan State will take on number 4, Oklahoma in Norman. And at 10 tonight, the Big 12 runner-up, TCU, will host 6th seed Washington in Fort Worth.
The Texas game is of note because if West Virginia defeats Kentucky tomorrow, they advance to the Sweet 16, which will be held in Fort Worth. And they would face Texas-Oregon winner, which I think a lot of people believe will be the top-seeded Longhorns.
Yeah, keep you posted on that. Again, they're late second quarter, 11-point lead for Texas in that contest. All right, to the texts we go. Texter says, I hope Coach Hodge and staff are paying attention to these early tournament games. There's a lot of talent running up and down the floor for those schools that do not have sufficient NIL money. Also learned yesterday the University of Cincinnati has cut a check for the buyout for their current coach. Yeah, Wes Miller. They've worked out the buyout, and he's actually moved on and reportedly going to take the Charlotte job.
Yeah,
now.
That happened. That's been pretty much finished for a couple of days now, and I think a lot of people expect the Bearcats to, once Utah State's run is finished, to hire former Mountaineer assistant, former Fairmont State head coach, Youngstown State head coach, current Utah State head coach, Jared Calhoun. So he may be visiting the Mountaineers in his old Coliseum stomping grounds. And boy, what a great job he's done at really every stop along the way.
Yeah, I always thought that, his two dream jobs were either Cincinnati or West Virginia.
Sure.
Alma mater, Cincinnati. Obviously had a great experience and great love for WVU. So, yeah, great for him. Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, they play well tonight and can advance on. But will obviously be tough. But Good evening, guys. With Rifles' 21st national championship, I was just wondering, is there any other school that had more national titles in any sport? We'll look that up.
That one up.
I don't think so.
I want to say someone does, but it's going to be like Stanford in swimming, or
that probably Stanford is dominant in swimming.
Yeah, so or something like that. So I'll check those out and get you a. Because this list so far is just overall championships, but somebody's out there.
Mm-hmm.
But West Virginia is very, very much on the upper edge of that list.
Yep, for sure. All right, texter Steve from Philippi. Hey guys, was it the Baylor Brittany Griner game at home that was the last sellout at home? And Travis, how do you think Gannon will do in the Elite Eight this week? Nova Southeastern won over 100 straight wins at home now. Yeah, that was a new record for Nova Southeastern, as Jim Crutchfield's done a wonderful job there. Let's see. So Gannon is actually on the other side of the bracket of Nova Southeastern, so they would not meet until the finals. But what's kind of if they would meet, I think it'd be a great game because they're a very similar style. It's all from that Crutchfield tree. So it's the same full court pressing, trapping, high scoring, high flying offenses. That starts by the way on the 25th this week. Nova Southeastern is the top overall seed. They reseed once they get to the Elite Eight, and Nova Southeastern is the top seed. Gannon, who won the Atlantic region, which is where the Mountain East plays. Gannon is the 3 seed. They'll take on Michigan Tech at noon coming up this week on the 25th, which is Wednesday.
Apparently, Kyle Wiggs just can't get away from the radio after spending so much time. He just texted me and said Oklahoma State has won 30-plus national championships in wrestling.
Oh, yeah, okay, there you go.
So that'll tell you
okay
that one. So thank you, Kyle, for go get some rest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please do. But thank you for that note.
Yep, absolutely. Text here. I hope he doesn't mind me sharing. Coach Beckman from East Fairmont, girls basketball, did a terrific job this year, had a great year and run. Says, Travis, I agree. The state of high school basketball in West Virginia is really in good shape right now. The upgrades to the Civic Center look great. We're definitely much needed. As for the crowd, I think a lot of it depends on the matchups. I'm with you. Attendance isn't quite what it used to be. I really love to see it grow again in the coming years. One thing I think plays a role is the rising cost of making the trip to Charleston. My family drove down on Friday night to support the North Marion Boys program, a county school we wanted to be there for. But when you add up expenses, it becomes clear why some families might be hesitant. We spend about $70 on gas, $50 on tickets, and for the evening session, and $140 on dinner. $140 on dinner. Coach, you got to go to McDonald's.
Well, it may be McDonald's. Hey, those extra value meals have gone up.
He continues, I've never really considered the full impact before, probably because I've always traveled with my East Fairmont team, but looking at it from a family's perspective, the cost of living going up could absolutely be a part of the attendance conversation. Really enjoyed our time as a family and thought everything went as smooth for running an event of that magnitude. Just something worth thinking about moving forward as I'm listening this evening. So we appreciate that, Coach Beckman. Yeah, and that's obviously we kind of put that out of our minds at times when we're having these discussions, but that we have discussed that about the Mountaineer football attendance and how it's not what it once was with the amount of teams or games now on television and the cost of doing basically anything these days. We joke about fast food, but even that is doubled in cost from what it used to be.
Yeah, and the coach made some great points, and he was going down for a one-day trip, right? What's the cost if now you're trying to stay throughout the whole tournament, which now has an extra day, so you add lodging into that. Quickly you're over $1,000 before you even think.
Terry in Morgantown, unless Utah State beats Arizona tonight, when do you think we will see a team from below the Power 5 conferences make the round of 16 or the Elite 8? I mean,
you can always make a run. I'm not going to say that can't happen, but it is becoming more difficult, Travis. I mean, with the transfer portal, NIL, I mean, the mid-majors don't have the same resources, so they can't retain their best athletes for lengthy periods. It used to be those mid-majors would put out a bunch of seniors out there, and all of a sudden they could beat, some of the talented but younger majors. Mm-hmm. But those seniors aren't seniors at their own school for very long. They've taken the NIL, can't blame them, and moved to a power. So I don't know what you think, but I think it could be. The way this thing's structured, I don't know when it's going to happen again.
I think it makes for an interesting case study. I'm not sure we have enough years of NIL era build up yet to make a complete determination. But you can think back. Florida Gulf Coast did it. Virginia Commonwealth did it. I think that's been 20 years ago now. Believe it or not, that they got all the way, I think, to the Final Four.
Yeah,
I believe. So it's been done in the past. Will it happen at all or often in this new era? Probably not. I don't think it's impossible. Look at High Point. Last night High Point, they had a chance. I mean, they were right in it. A possession or two here or there. They're in the Sweet 16.
Sure.
So it can happen. Elite 8, Final Four, a little more difficult. But I do think that you could see a mid-major winning at least 2 games in the NCAA tournament. But to your point, Terry, it's not going to be not like it was frequent, but it's going to be less frequent now. George Mason, somebody said as well. They did it as well. Was wondering about the time frame of Mark Kellogg's contract. I'm sure other schools are taking notice. Says Daryl in Portsmouth, Virginia.
Well, he's in his 3rd year. Got to look it up. I believe they signed him to an extension last year. I got to look that up to know for certain. So I know in talking to Ren Baker, when he hired him, and maybe it was after the first year, and WVU's AD said, asking him, your last coach bailed on you after a year, and Dawn Plitzowite, who had a nice run at Minnesota, give her credit. And he said, I wrote this contract. It's going to be a whole lot more difficult for him to leave. Now, every contract has an end date. But
well, in every contract, if somebody's willing to pay the buyout,
sure.
And I don't, I guess it's, you always worry about that when you have a great year and the job he's done here. I don't know right offhand any major Division I job that would be like a no-brainer type job that every coach in America would be interested in that's going to be open right now. But you never know. The complete dominoes haven't we're not past the domino falling time period yet in terms of, or the silly season, if you want to call it, in terms of college basketball.
I am quick look up, and I will give total credit to Justin Jackson, Dominion Post, who had a story just last summer, July of 2025. Mark Kellogg had signed an extension at that point in time.
Okay. What's he got on when the girls' basketball season switched?
Haven't asked him that
good.
one yet.
Okay, good. Let's not. All right, Texter says, Miami of Ohio had a player whose last name was DeVries. I knew she wouldn't stay here too long.
Oh, poor.
That's great.
It was a little bit different spelling. She was European.
Yeah, she's from the Netherlands. Yeah, so no relation.
No.
No relation.
Don't hold it against her or whomever.
Texter, good question here. How can Wheeling Central be in Class A in football and Class AA in basketball? Isn't it time that they have to play up to AAA minimum they recruit? All right, a couple things here. They are technically a Class A school by enrollment. They chose to play up in basketball. If you recall, they chose to play up in football before, but they chose this year to play back down, and that's to their classification. Yeah,
is.
And the whole recruiting. First off, let's talk specifically about this basketball team. As far as I know, and I'm not saying every single kid because I don't claim to know every single kid's background, but that nucleus of kids that they have on that team right now all went to middle school together.
Yeah. So they're Wheeling kids.
They're Wheeling kids. Yeah. I mean, the Sancom's mother is the principal there. Danny coaches in Pennsylvania, but the family still resides in Wheeling. And I mean, I'm sorry, but this, it ends now because of what the legislature just did. But that argument is null and void now. Everybody can recruit.
Yeah. Well, and what you think of parochial schools playing up, playing down? They tried to make some rules to change that, and everybody seemed to hate the new rules.
Well, because AA didn't want them either.
Yeah.
Single A didn't want them. Well, AA didn't want them.
Well, and parochial schools all recruit not just athletically, but to get students.
Yeah.
Travis, you went to a Catholic school.
I always said if we're recruiting, we need to fire our recruiting coordinator. We weren't very good.
But I mean, that's part of it. They're going to be, you go to mass, they're going to be people saying, "Hey, you know what? Come to our high school."
Yep.
I understand that. I go to a Catholic church. I didn't go to a Catholic school, but I hear that pitch. Those days that I actually get to mass, which that's a whole nother story.
Texter says, baseball is my first love. In fact, Mazeroski's homer in the 1960 World Series is my greatest moment in sports history. I would love to listen to every Pirate game I could until the Pirates fired Bob Prince and I stopped listening. However, I did watch on TV and liked Lanny Fratteri. I've been watching the Mountaineer baseball games online when I can, and the announcer during the games sounds a lot like Lanny Fratteri.
Well, if you're watching ESPN Plus, most of those are Lanny Fratteri.
That's why it sounds like.
Yeah.
You mean that's not it's not a guy pretending to be Lanny Fratteri.
Yeah, it's not AI or anything like that. That is Lanny, who, I think I have this right, professor at Waynesburg, maybe retired now from, that's what he did after his Pirate days were over. And now as a side gig, does West Virginia games on TV now. Little Caridi does them on radio.
Right. Or Big Caridi in the case of...
yesterday.
Yeah, how about that? When's the last time Tony did a baseball game? I was thinking like Morgantown Post 2, 1995 maybe.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, you and I did some Morgantown Post 2 games together.
He had card tables set up over at Valley View Ballpark. Back in the day, and put the machine or the equipment on that. So.
Yeah, if you didn't know, of course Andrew had a conflict with the women's basketball game, so Tony went over and took over.
Yeah,
and did some baseball. Yesterday.
He saw a good one yesterday. Called a good one.
Need to send us his Tony. Please send us the air check so we can critique you. All right. Where is our women's basketball correspondent that calls in every Sunday? That's Mike from Charleston. A great point. Texter says he called in all year, then doesn't after we win a tournament game.
Still celebrating.
Yeah, I was looking forward to hearing his take. So Mike in Charleston, where are you? I mean, this was your Sunday.
Yeah, he should call in and gloat, or maybe he's just doesn't want to jinx anything.
Well,
he's waiting to
knowing Mike, he's probably glued to this Texas-Oregon game and writing down all their sets. In case we play the Longhorns in the next round.
He's got the scout.
Yep. Same thing, Texter, that we talked about a moment ago. Love what Mark Kellogg has done here. Worried success will lead to another school swooping him up. Do you think WV will be able to keep him for a while? Yeah, I mean, again, hard to tell. Don't know. Family seems to like it here. But, if LSU comes calling or South Carolina comes calling, or would never happen, but because once Gino Auriemma retires, they've got a a tree there to pick from. But, one of those premier jobs at Indiana, obviously with Darren DeVries, there's some jobs you just can't turn down.
Well, and again, I mean, if you have a successful coach, others are going to be knocking on their door. And I'll admit, there is at a point where you can't afford to keep them. I mean, he's not, living on government cheese or anything right now. He's doing very well, but in West Virginia will be as competitive as they ultimately can. And they did just sign him to an extension, which had a nice bump in pay and all those type of things. But as you said, Travis, there are a few programs out there that have better resources. Now, I mean, if you lose him to Wright State, that would be something to leave you shaking your head. But there are 10 programs that nobody can compete with outside of those 10.
Are you ready? One final text here before the break. You're ready to possibly have a coronary?
Okay.
We officially have a listener that's complained that we don't talk enough about football on this show. That's all we do around here. I know we haven't yet tonight, but
we will. I'll give you a quick update. West Virginia, because of spring break at WVU, spring football practice went on a week, took last week off. They're back on the practice field tomorrow.
Yeah, that's why there wasn't much to talk about.
Yep.
So, all right, we'll take a break. It's 5 till. 304-TALK, 304-800-765-8255. We will return.
Answering a text or phone call while driving. Seems pretty harmless, right? But in the 5 seconds you took your eyes off the road to respond, you missed the girl riding her bike across the street. You missed the dog who darted into the road. And you missed the stop sign. And while it was just a ticket this time, it could have been worse. In fact, more than 700 people are injured in distracted driving crashes each day. Keep yourself and others safe. Don't drive distracted. Just drive. This message was brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Running a small business means wearing a lot of hats, and dealing with tech problems shouldn't be one of them. CityNet helps West Virginia businesses keep their technology running smoothly, from networks and computers to backup, security, and day-to-day support. Whether you don't have IT staff or you have a small team that could use extra help, CityNet can take care of the technology or work alongside your team to fill in the gaps. With proactive monitoring, fast local support, and solutions built on CityNet's fiber network, your business stays productive instead of reactive. Call us at 1-844-CityNet to get started.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. It makes you feel defeated. I'm just going to be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not going to be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
All right, Sportsline continues. If you are away from a telly or obviously listening to us and not checking the scores much, 13-18 remaining in the second half. St. John's up 10 on Kansas. So 13 minutes left in that contest. Meanwhile, Tennessee has a 7-point lead on UVA, 36-29. They're closing in on halftime. In that game, in the women's game that we're keeping note of because it will be the Mountaineers' next opponent, should they win, tomorrow against Kentucky. Texas takes an 11-point lead into the locker room at 45-34. So that's what's happening there. You found some, in the Justin Jackson article, found some financials in regards to Markello's contract.
Yeah, the extension goes through 2028, so it'll be a total of 7 years from the time he was hired at West Virginia. He's going to get paid just under $500,000 before bonuses through the entirety of it. It's over $700,000 a year in the latter stages, and the buyout is 50% of whatever remains. That's what he owes West Virginia. So it's pretty stiff buyout. But again, as we said, Travis, there's always someone, if they really want him, they can come up with, they have deep pockets and they can come up with what they need. But those are all numbers that seemingly would do well to keep him here, as long as, somebody else with really, really good bank account doesn't want him.
You're facing Kentucky tomorrow. The Wildcats are 24-10, went 8-8 in the Southeastern Conference this past season. Their losses were to Maryland, who were ranked 7th at the time, Alabama. They lost 3 in a row in the midseason. To Mississippi State. They lost to Kim Stevens-Caldwell in Tennessee and Knoxville, and at home to Georgia. Lost to 7th-ranked Vanderbilt, 4th-ranked Texas, and 5th-ranked Vanderbilt, 3rd-ranked South Carolina twice to end the year. So not a bad loss.
Oh, certainly not.
Of their 8, yeah.
Like I said, their length, and, watching them the other day, they're not only long, but they have the ability to shoot threes, even from their bigs. That was really impressive in their victory over James Madison. They're good. They got a really good point guard in Tony Morgan. They did have a swoon sort of mid-late season, but that was because Tiana Keys, who's a really good big for them, was hurt and missed 8 games.
Yep.
Many of their losses were during that time. She's back, and with 11.2 points and 7.3 rebounds. But the player to keep an eye on is Clara Strake, who is 6'5", can shoot threes, scores nearly 17 a game, averages over 10 rebounds a game, and is really, really skilled. So was a starter career at Virginia Tech. And then when Kenny Brooks was hired at Kentucky a couple years ago after his tenure at Tech, Clara joined him in Lexington. So, like I said, when they got Key back, that sort of got them back on track, and they've been on a pretty good roll as of late. As you said, Travis, you look at who they lost to, they're not a bad loss in there. Of their last 3 losses, 2 of them were to South Carolina.
All right, so that's what you got to face coming up tomorrow with the Wildcats of Kentucky. They've got, as Greg mentioned, 5 players in their starting 5 that average in double figures, and then guard that comes off the bench that averages 9 points per game. So they're putting up 76 points per contest, grabbing an impressive 41 rebounds a game. They've been very good. You may ask, when you play West Virginia, what's the turnover numbers look like? 13 a game for Kentucky against 17 assists. So
And again, we'll get a chance. We'll hear some from Mark Kellogg here in a little bit, but did ask him about, how difficult is West Virginia's defense when you're going up against a team that hasn't faced that defense before. And he said, it can be tough on a quick turnaround like the NCAA tournament. But he said Tennessee, Ole Miss also play very much pressure defensive style. So it's not like they've never seen this kind of defense in the past. Slightly different versions, but, they're coming in here with an idea of how to handle basketball despite all those bigs.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they're second in the SEC and 20th nationally in the fewest turnovers per game.
Texter, I think Bill Self might retire tonight if he loses. Good. It's been a year.
At some point, he's getting up there. And this hasn't been what his normal standard year is. Nothing would surprise me. He doesn't have another 5-6 years.
Miller may get a pay raise at Charlotte, pay at Cincinnati, $1.35 million. Calhoun at Utah State, $1.85 million, makes more at Utah State currently. He also talked, I thought, was very candid the other day about their NIL and how much it's improved since he's been there. And no doubt that's a big selling point for him for the Cincinnati situation. I know he'd been rumored for Syracuse. I think you may have seen the news today that Syracuse is going to hire one of their own in Jerry McNamara as their head coach, who had a nice little run there at Siena. So the Syracuse job now officially filled from that standpoint. Texter, hey, Travis and Coach, great show. Reference to the WVU women's game at 5 p.m. tomorrow. I see at the parking lots at Hope Coliseum open at 3. With that, has it been announced what time the doors will open? I hear there was a line wrapped around the Coliseum for the game on Saturday before the doors opened. Is that so? I'm asking about all this because I have tickets for tomorrow's game versus Kentucky. Thank you, Scott.
First of all, yes, there were there were lines, the likes of which I haven't seen, wrapped around the Coliseum. Because it's sort of the general admission type thing. People wanted to get there early because it wasn't like you had a ticketed seat, right? Mm-hmm. So festival, first come, first serve. In a lot. There were some reserved seats. Yesterday, the gates opened an hour before the first game, an hour and 5 minutes to be technical. So I think that's probably the mark. Now that the first game yesterday was Kentucky and James Madison, so it wasn't as you had more of a slow progress of people coming in, but like I said, the lines were incredibly long even before that first game. So I would use the 1 hour mark before the gates open, but yes, the public parking is 2 hours before the game.
Yeah. So again, if it were me, I would get there 2 hours before the game. That way you get decent parking. Go ahead and go stand in line for 45 minutes before the doors open.
Or tailgate.
Yeah.
Is the weather going to be nice?
It's going to turn colder tonight. I think it's 40, upper 40s, 50 tomorrow, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. I'll check for you out-of-towners. High 49 tomorrow. Showers in the morning, partly cloudy in the afternoon. So, but I mean, compared to what we've been used to, 49 won't feel bad.
Yeah.
Is there heat on Kim Caldwell from Tennessee? Or there is heat on Kim Caldwell from Tennessee fans. Would he go there? I don't think she's getting fired. I really don't. I don't think. I think she's got one more year. Speaking of candid comments, I thought she was extremely candid in the mistake that she made this year.
Mm-hmm.
Started 14-3.
Yep.
Had a revolt in her locker room because of her system. The kid she had didn't like him, so she gave in, changed the style, and the thing nose dove. So she was like, basically, if you read between the lines, she's basically saying, "I'm going back to my style, and I will recruit players that are committed to playing in it."
No.
Now, that we'll see if
blunt
that
comment that
can
you
happen.
normally
But
don't get from
yeah. I mean, I thought it was refreshing because she admitted her mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, that normally doesn't happen. So, but yeah, I don't. Again, I don't have any ties to Tennessee, and not getting any tip-offs there. But I would have thought that if Tennessee was going to let her go, it would have happened by now.
Makes a point.
All right, 7:08. When we come back, Coach Hunter was busy scurrying over at the Coliseum today to get you some of what the participants are saying about what is going to go down tomorrow at 5 o'clock at the Coliseum. So we will listen into that when we return. Text line still open. We'll obviously take text in between tape. 304-TALK 304. Sportsline continues in a moment.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to wvmetronews.com to apply. That's wvmetronews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line returns in 2 minutes on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Stay connected to what's happening today in West Virginia.
What about this and what about that? And it just went back and forth. And I was just the guy reading the text. Okay, so what's your take on the whole thing?
Well, now you just get me fired up. Now
Right.
you just
Okay, so
get
I'm
me
gonna
going.
turn on. I'm gonna run down to Wendy's and grab a burger, and I'll be back.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
On the next State of Minds.
I came here to Morgantown, the WVU. I wanted to play football. Tried to walk on, but I was humbled very quickly. So I joined the WVU forestry team. What my father taught me was the importance of hard work and the importance of sweat equity.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan proudly supports our active and healthy communities and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
All right, Sportsline continues, 7:12, rolling through on this Sunday night. Mark Kellogg, Mimi Wheeler, Jordan Harrison met with the media earlier today over at the Coliseum. Let's take a listen into some of the press conference, starting with Mark Kellogg. Go ahead.
Can I interrupt
You can,
real quick?
please.
That's last night's post game.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
No, I'm glad you interrupted me.
Yeah, so I mean, if it's Mimi Wheeler and such, because it was Carter McCray and Gia Cook along with Mark Kellogg today. So didn't mean to interrupt, but all those audios are stacked on top of one another, very much so. So they're all right there.
Well, hang on.
Did you find them?
I don't have it.
Well,
if
you go to bluegoldnews.com.
Well, I see some one-on-ones here.
Yeah, no, those are different ones. So those are locker room. It is interesting. Locker rooms are open during these, but like I said, I'll let you play what you want to play.
Well, I'm not playing last night's.
No, because there's new stuff from today.
Yeah, okay, I think I found it.
Joining us now is West Virginia head coach Mark Kellogg. Coach, if you could start maybe with some general comments about your big win yesterday and then how your team is preparing for tomorrow's second-round matchup against Kentucky.
Yeah, obviously pleased to still be here and advancing in the tournament. That's obviously one of the goals is to continue and play. And, even as a coach, it's just to get to game plan, again and let them hang around each other and have another meal or two together. I mean, that's what this is a lot about, and you want to extend it as long as you can. I thought the environment yesterday was electric. The atmosphere was awesome. The fan base here is special. Hopefully we can do that and run it back again tomorrow evening. Obviously, Kentucky, very, very good basketball team, very well coached. We'll present some challenges and some different ones, so it's a different game plan that obviously you work hard at now, and it's a quick turnaround, but it's why you have great staff and great people around you. And you're 34, 35 game plans in, so I'm sure we can draw from one of the previous game plans to make it a little bit easier on our kids to play freely and not get too caught up in the game plan. But, certainly excited, looking forward to the opportunity to take the floor one more time and against a quality opponent in Kentucky.
Questions for Coach? We'll start here with Coach Hunter.
Greg Hunter, Blue and Gold News. So as you talked about that and looked at the scout and looked for some comparisons and past opponents, Kentucky's length stands out to you. So have you faced anybody that's similar? How do you combat that?
Yes. I think there's some that we're going to draw from. I'm probably not going to tell you who because I don't want them to go back and look at that. But yeah, I think they're not exactly like anybody, but I think we could probably go to 2 or 3 specific teams, that the game plan might look somewhat similar. But yeah, their length is probably some of their superpower. Obviously, they're talented in other ways too, so I don't want to just get caught up in that. But it's their ability to play with the length, how they utilize their length, is exceptional. But when you look at all the numbers and analytics and you watch them on film, they're just there's not a lot of holes, and that's what happens when you get to this stage. We're down to 32 teams, over the last 2 days. Half of the 68, I guess, 64 were eliminated. So you're down to quality competition at this point. That's what you expect. That's what this is about. If you don't play well, you don't execute, you probably don't advance at this point. So they present some problems, and so you're kind of, in some ways, trying to find little areas that you can steal something or pick your poison or play to, maybe an area they're not quite as strong in, and then, for us, trying to find strengths that we have that hopefully we can exploit.
Cody Nesper, Gold Blue Nation. Mark, have you faced anybody like Strack, who's 6'5" and seems like a 3-level scorer?
Yeah, I mean, not maybe all wrapped up into one. I mean, she's a little bit of an exception to the rule, probably, with the talent at 6'5" and the ability to play really all over from the three-point line all the way in, and obviously to the Dirk fade. You don't see that a whole lot, so that's very rare. But rebounds at a high rate, plays with a ton of confidence. I mean, Kenny's done a great job developing her and allowing her to play as free as she does. So, there's some that are similar. So again, it's you're going back to some of those game plans where she's not exactly like, but we can maybe play it like we did so-and-so, and then you even have to add some, maybe some details or some attention just because of her skill set.
Down here.
Trent Connor, West Virginia Sports Nation. The team shot pretty well from the free throw line last night, above season average. How much emphasis was put on that in the last week's practice? And did you notice any increase in concentration and focus from the team in yesterday's game?
Well, Yeah, I hope, I guess. I don't know that we had to do it any differently than you do it as the year progresses, as you get to the late regular season games, then you go through the conference tournament. Possessions are magnified. Free throws, obviously, to answer your question, are magnified. So, I don't want to overhype it or make them feel stressed because they get there. But, yeah, when you get there, you want to take advantage. Those are opportunities to get some free points on the board while the clock stopped and resting and those types of things. So whether it's free throws, finishing layups, these are possession games. And anybody that wins the possession battle, typically it goes in their favor, especially if you're making shots. Kentucky's a phenomenal rebounding team, so you want to you got to rebound some or find ways to steal them there. You better make the first one because you may not get it back. So just finding quality shots, whether that's the free throw line or anywhere. And I think other than that, we were relaxed and just kind of playing in the flow.
Justin?
Coach Justin Jackson with the Dominion Post. I'm kind of thinking back to last year in the Carolina game. Generating offense obviously gets very difficult once you get to this level. I'm kind of wondering, do you expect maybe that same kind of issues against Kentucky? And if it does become this scoring struggle for both teams, how do you kind of battle through that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you expect. I think you go in expecting anything that could happen. It could be that. I think both teams are really good defensively. We do it completely differently. And so this will be kind of strength on strength, I guess. And so we may have the speed or quickness. They may have some length and some other things on us. So I think you're just trying to find ways. We're going to try to help our group today and obviously tomorrow leading up to it to find ways to get points. It certainly could be, as you alluded to, it may be a defensive struggle. Both offenses may get going, maybe some fatigue defensively that you get slow on some rotations and you get good teams out there that'll make you pay if you do make a mistake and don't rotate correctly. And so those things get exposed as well. But, yeah, I think we'll be prepared for whatever the game presents.
Down here, Quinn.
Quinn Ruby, United to the Moose. So going off of yesterday's game, towards the end of both the first and second quarters, you guys went on those runs. Was there anything said in those timeouts towards the end that kind of just kickstarted things, or was it your team just settling in?
Yeah, no, nothing really said. I mean, we talk, every coach probably does, about finishing quarters, starting quarters, those types of things, whether that means the last 3 minutes, 4 minutes, maybe it's one possession, I thought we had the crowd at its loudest, when we went up 17 late and then we give up the wrong rotation and they drill the three on us and we lost that mojo pretty quick because I was ready to run into halftime with that place, being really, really loud. So, no, it's just, feeding off of what we can. We talk about those things. Most coaches probably do, so I don't think that's anything new to us. But, how you end quarters, start them is significant.
Corey, over here.
Corey Moore, Mountaineer Playbook. Coach, it felt like yesterday that Mimi and Cece had their hands on the ball a little bit more at the top of the key than usual. With Kentucky's size, do you expect to play like that again tomorrow? And how do your guards play a little bit differently and contribute differently whenever you're playing like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we don't want to probably just go completely away from everything we do. We've played some teams with some length. So, again, we'll draw off some of those experiences and I think we've gotten better and more comfortable as the year's gone on playing against, length that they're going to have over us for sure, especially at those three positions. So, I think there's some things we'll ask the guards to do. I think there's some things we'll ask the post to do that will be a little bit differently. But, I mean, I guess you started the question with the ball in CC and Mimi's hands. I don't know that that's going to change because that's something that we like to do, and they can pass and play and operate out of that high post area. So if that's what the game calls for, we'll be ready for that. If the game calls for something else, we'll be prepared to do some other things with the guards as well.
Down here, Greg.
Coach, in your postseason experience over the years, not just here, but going back, your defense is unique. You get this quick turnaround. How's an opponent typically handled that? Someone who's not faced it in the past? I would imagine that presents some problems for an opponent. You may not feel sorry for them, but have you noticed that others have problems on a quick turnaround?
Yeah, no, we won't feel sorry probably. That's at this point. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it started a little bit. Again, I'll go back and I talked about it last night, but in the Division II level, when you get to the NCAA tournament, one team hosts 8 schools, and you play back-to-back. So you play Friday, Saturday, you get Sunday off, and then you play on Monday. So we always thought that was an advantage the way we played, and that's even part of why we played the way we did, because once we got to that level, it was like, man, you got to play us on a Friday night, and you got to turn around and try to prepare for all of that on a Saturday, and then if you win that one, you get 1 day prep to play 3 games in 4 days. If you're the host site, then you got all sorts of advantages there again. So there's some advantages. I think you get to this level too, though, just like I talked about, we're going to pull off game plans. I mean, Kentucky's played Tennessee's and Ole Misses and lots of teams that probably play somewhat like we do. So I'm sure they're going to pull some game plans from some of those games as well. But yeah, so is it an advantage? Maybe. I guess you'd have to ask them. But from our side, yeah, maybe.
Mark, I asked Mimi last night, but what was going through your head when she was going coast to coast? And then is that the sign that things are going pretty good?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's when you're playing with ultimate confidence, I guess. I mean, she can do that. She's not a bad ball handler. We haven't seen it a ton. Seen it a few times in practice, but it was kind of just I think she was waiting to give it up, and then it was a parting of the seas, so to speak, a little bit. And if she sees rim, she knows to go to rim. So she continued her route there, and no one really stopped her. And yeah, it looked pretty good, and that's why you're asking about it, because we hadn't seen it a whole lot. But yeah, she has the ability to do that. So I was fine. Even if she had missed, I probably would have been fine.
Back of the room.
Greg Carey, West Virginia Metro News. In regards to Mimi this year, she's had some success in some of these matchups when she's been undersized, maybe giving up a couple inches. What allows for that? I mean, what makes her, I guess, excel when she's giving up 3 and 4 inches in certain post matchups?
Yeah, I think mindset. She probably doesn't realize she's given up, or doesn't want to accept that she's given up 3 or 4 inches. Mimi's just going to play the way she does, I think, is what I've learned about her in the years. She's passionate. She's aggressive. She loves these moments. She loves those matchups. It's why she came here. It's what she talked about, through the recruiting process, was wanting to play at this level. And, yeah, she's a little undersized, and we knew that, but she's very productive in what she does. And so, yeah, she'll be excited for this one, as she has been probably all of these games here lately. And I think you'll probably get the best version of Mimi you can. But, yeah, she's been a great contributor for us. It's what we've needed. Her ability to score in the paint, defensive rebound for us, play with that toughness and that edge that she has, just kind of filters through the rest of the team. Her and Gia in particular, obviously Jordan, we've seen her do it, and Shaw's got that toughness. But to add those two as well has been really, really good for our dynamic.
I want to take a question here on Zoom from Brad Harvey. Brad, go ahead.
Yes, it's Brad Harvey with College Sportscast. Good afternoon, Coach. I want to ask you specifically, you've been asked about Kentucky's size, but specifically about their shot blocking ability. Will that adjust your team's play or game plan at all?
Well, yeah, it's something you have to discuss. TCU's a pretty good shot blocking team, as well. So can be a similar conversation maybe to some of their length at the rim. But yeah, I think Kentucky leads the country in block shots. Maybe they're second, but I think I saw they were first. And so yeah, it's when you get to the rim, what's our decision making? Do we have space? Are they blocking it from the on-ball defender? Are they coming from the help side? They do both. So yeah, I think there's some things we've talked about and that we would like to attack. If that happens, but at the same time, if we're being aggressive and they block a shot, then I'll accept it and we'll move on and play the next possession, whether it's still our ball or maybe they block it and retain possession. We'll sprint back on defense and get ready, but it's certainly something you have to be prepared for.
Down here, Quinn.
So ever since you went to TCU and you guys lost, you haven't lost since. Do you feel like something kind of flipped there? The girls kind of said that they just put it behind them and they learned from their mistakes. Do you kind of feel the same way, or was there something that you adjusted from the coaching side?
Yeah, no, I don't know if any of that's. No, I think we just continue to get better. We thought we played really well in that game, minus those 5 minutes to start the third quarter, and let one slip away. So, yeah, I think we were disappointed. We were playing from behind from a regular season title after that, so we knew our margin for error was really small. So, in a sense, it became kind of postseason-ish basketball at that standpoint. We knew we were going to continue to play, but if we wanted a piece of the regular season, we probably needed to win them all. When we got to the tournament, we knew we wanted to win the tournament, but we had other goals like to be here. So we've just kind of been, I guess, in kind of postseason mode maybe since then. Outside of that, no, we didn't change a whole lot of what we do. We just maybe have done it a little bit better since then.
Spencer?
Spencer Ripchick, Dominion Post. Kentucky yesterday, they jumped out to like a 32-10 lead in the first quarter. Is that something that you're being cognizant in, that they come out and punch you in the mouth, and how do you kind of avoid that happening?
Yeah, that first quarter won them the game, I think, yesterday. And I don't know did they win the fourth? I don't know if they won the fourth. I think they lost the second and the third quarters, but that was plenty. And that's what can happen this time. If you're not careful and you're not on it, teams go on big runs. We saw that across the tournament. So yeah, I think you've got to be dialed in. I would hope that doesn't happen, and we better be prepared. I think they start well though from the games that I've seen them play. They do have really good first quarters, and they come out and, their length and some of the things, the ability to shoot the basketball and spread it. Hassett and Boone can absolutely fill it up. So you have to be careful there too. And you just don't want them to find rhythm early. So I think it'll be on us defensively to make sure that we're trying to take them out of rhythm early. I'm sure they'll be trying to do the same thing to us. But yeah, they got off to a great start, and that settled in really quick.
Any other questions for Coach? Mike, in the back.
Mark, a couple of your players said that not the same opponent, but philosophically or even just like the lineups, Miami similar to Kentucky, and curious how much you agree with that, and in short turnarounds to have that kind of a continuity in game plan, how advantageous is that?
So you're asking, is Miami similar to Kentucky?
Not athletically, I get that, but they had the point guard who handles the ball, they have bigs who can shoot, they maybe play a little bit quicker is what Jordan said, but just they saw some similarities between the two.
Some. Probably. It's a different game plan for sure. Different, obviously, size, level of athlete. Now, they can shoot it. They don't shoot it as many positions as Miami did. So they had post players that could stretch us. I think you play some of those mid-majors, that's what happens. They don't have as much size as we've seen over the last several months. And so it changes what you do a little bit defensively from a post-player perspective. Obviously, Kentucky has a dynamic point guard, one that leads them, high assists, like Miami, so there would be a comparable there for sure in what Morgan and the Singer kid did yesterday. So, yeah, there's some parallels, but no, there's a lot that probably are a little bit different. So the game plan will change, but like I said, we've used pieces from a lot of different game plans this year that we'll kind of put together.
Any other questions? Coach, thank you very much and good luck.
Okay, thanks everybody.
All right, listening in to the Mountaineers press conference from yesterday, we will check in with a few of the players when we come back. Also hear the Kentucky side of things as well with Kenny Brooks getting ready for the 5 o'clock game tomorrow. Sportsline continues after this timeout.
Answering a text or phone call while driving. Seems pretty harmless, right? But in the 5 seconds you took your eyes off the road to respond, you missed the girl riding her bike across the street. You missed the dog who darted into the road. And you missed the stop sign. And while it was just a ticket this time, it could have been worse. In fact, more than 700 people are injured in distracted driving crashes each day. Keep yourself and others safe. Don't drive distracted. Just drive. This message was brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
With Metro News Hotline, If it's trending, it's probably here.
And then the other thing, his last name is one of those weird Norwegian names where they have two vowels that slam into each other. It's like the A and the E are like cemented into each other.
You're like the 12th Dave that works here. What do you think people from Norwegian think about that?
That is fair.
Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. Makes you feel defeated. I'm just gonna be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not gonna be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
All right, 25 minutes remaining in the program. The players that talked to the media today, Gia Cook and Carter McCray. And let's listen in to the player portion of the press conference.
Greg Hunter, Blue and Gold News. So for both of you, but start with Carter, because the length of Kentucky sort of stands out when you see that. How does that impact what you do? You faced bigs between Wisconsin and here, but I don't know if their size is different. And then, Gia, how's that impact guards, too? So, Carter, start with you.
So it's definitely a thing, but I feel like it's nothing really new for us. And being in the Big 12 Conference, we've played against a lot of length with other teams. So just being, like, cognizant of it, maybe using more shot fakes. And we know they have, like, a couple shot blockers on their team, but we're pretty used to it. I think we'll be prepared.
Like playing against different guards or different bigs?
No, just, I mean, their length.
Okay, I don't think it's no crazy length, but like when we have mismatches, we kind of, play to our strengths with that and take the advantage as, our goal with that. But, I think it's not no crazy height difference or anything with guards to me.
Cody?
Cody Nesper, Gold Blue Nation. If I'm not wrong, when you were at Maryland, you guys hosted?
Yes.
Can you just compare and contrast the experiences? Obviously, then you didn't play as much as you did last night.
When I hosted at Maryland, it's definitely different from here. I don't think we sold out our arena, but it was like the same experience, kind of just having everybody, all your fans here in Maryland, and then having all your fans here in West Virginia. I think it's just a cool experience to have. It's like another type of team on your back that you have, a different energy and things like that. So the atmosphere was great, honestly.
Spencer?
Spencer Ripchick, Dominion Post. This is for either of you guys. How long did it take for you guys to come down after all the excitement yesterday and move on to the next game?
I think it was pretty quick. I think we just, knowing that we're going to second round, it's just like, okay, let's stay grounded, keep our head on our shoulders the right way, stay locked in, and just, get ready to play the next team. I think we want to go far, and we just want to keep dancing. So, just moving on. We definitely were excited to get past that game. But, we have more work to do. So I think we were just all locked back in and got ready for it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, we both know we're not done yet. So the whole team knows that. And we just have bigger goals ahead. And we want to keep dancing. We want to keep playing in March.
Cody?
Carter, in the first half last night, Miami double and triple teamed you and Mimi in the post. And then in the second half, you guys were able to get a little more free. Just what did you change up? What did you talk about at halftime?
I think just taking what they're doing and kind of adjusting for both of us. I know I turned the ball over a good amount of times, so just slowing down a little bit before I take a dribble, looking to see where the double's coming from, looking for the pass out more, and just playing more poised. But I think both of us, we've been doubled before, triple team before, so just settling down into that, we know what to do, and we work on that in practice.
This is for either of you guys. Kentucky has a really good defense, and so do you guys. I don't know how much you were able to watch of yesterday's game. I know Coach Kellogg watched a little bit, but do you guys expect kind of a low-scoring defensive matchup?
You can say that. I mean, we watch film, and of course we defend the ball as well. So we're gonna try our best to turn our offense, the people over, Kentucky over, and get out in offense, of course. But we saw their defense. We saw how they like to guard. They have length on them, of course. So we're just gonna try to play our style of defense first and see if that gets us more offense in transition first.
Greg?
So, Carter, how have you guys become such a good rebounding team when you don't look like you're the longest team in the world, especially front line, but you've out-rebounded most teams you've faced? How have you done that, and how do you do that tomorrow against Kentucky?
I think rebounding really is just a want. So we really want it, even though we may seem undersized a little bit in the post position. I mean, even the guards get a good amount of rebounds. But it's just like wanting extra possessions, wanting to win, and doing those little things for the team that make us better and contribute to the wins. I just feel like we're all a group of dogs, and we'll do whatever it takes to get wins.
Yeah, quote that.
Cody?
Carter, Strack for Kentucky kind of does what Mimi does, and she'll take a mid-range or take a three to kind of spread it out. How do you defend that? Because obviously she can go in the post too. So how do you defend kind of both of those options?
Definitely just, it's not going to be just a one-person defensive game with her. So obviously we're going to attack it from different angles and just playing up. We know she can hit that mid-range shot. We know she can shoot the three. So just playing her at every level. But definitely, there's other post players that will be on her. It won't just be a thing with me. So I just have faith in my teammates to help and just be there. She's a great player. So, I think we're prepared to defend her well.
Greg?
Gia, for you, you guys experienced a quick turnaround, especially at the Big 12 tournament. Yeah. So, and you guys are so unique defensively. And those were conference teams, they'd seen you. But when you're facing a team that hasn't seen you, how hard do you think you guys are to prepare for?
How hard we are to prepare for?
Yeah.
We're going to give you different looks. I think we essentially have, all pieces of our offense from the 1 to the 5. So, it can be anybody's game. We had 4 people in double figures yesterday. So, we share the ball, we spray the ball, we spread the love clearly. So, it can be anybody's night, but I think tomorrow we're just going to go in and play our style of basketball, how we want to attack the rim, how we want to defend, and I think it'll just all come together once we settle in and really get a feel for how Kentucky wants to play us, how they want to guard us, and things like that. But, we never know. It's just one day preparation, so we're going to go in here and just lock in and try to be very intentional on how we want to play this game tomorrow.
Logan?
Corey Moore, Mountaineer Playbook. For both of you guys, how do you guys rely on your seniors from a leadership standpoint in the postseason, and what kind of things are they telling you guys differently from what you might be telling the rest of the team?
I think we all have a pretty big voice when it comes to from the guard position, of course. But our seniors definitely just keep us kind of motivated and telling us things that we need to hear. And I think we just all have a really good togetherness about us, that we all just try to pick each other up and next play. And we just all kind of know how we want to be talked to. So hey, Carter, hey. next play, things like that. We just know how to pick each other up and be together about it. It's never none of those the negative things or things like that. And our coaches do well with just keeping us locked in and stuff like that. So our seniors do a good job with just communicating with us well.
All right, press conference from earlier today. That is Gia Cook and Carter McCray. We'll hear the Kentucky side of things with Kenny Brooks coming up here in just a couple of moments. First, a couple of texts here before we take a break. Doug in Winfield. Good evening, guys. Travis, hate to go all Dave Wilson on you on the Sunday show, but was there any discussion at the state tournament last week expressing concerns the governor may veto the transfer bill due to his pro-school choice views if finalized, which schools would be most affected by the change in the transfer rule? No, the feeling I got was that this was going to happen. So again, just reading the wind. But I think the SSAC is indeed planning here in the next week to get together with their executive, board and try to nail out a new policy on what transfers would look like. I have a feeling it's going to look somewhat similar to what it was before. And that's basically going to be an appeal process. If you want to transfer, you're going to have a reason, and that will have to stand up to the guidelines set forth. As far as schools, I mean, I'm not taking the bait on that one, but it's not hard to figure out which schools have the more higher volume of transfers than others in most of the major sports. I think those have been well documented. My sources tell me that obviously Kentucky is going to wear blue tomorrow, so it might be a good idea for WVU fans to outnumber them tomorrow and wear gold. I also saw that the women's team is wearing the throwback gold, so they're wearing the Jerry West gold uniforms.
I think technically those are considered Georgianne Wells.
Yes,
uniforms,
that'd be
but it is a gold rush, so not only the team but the fans. West Virginia has just recently announced that are encouraged to wear gold for tomorrow.
Georgianne got any eligibility left?
And she was at the game yesterday.
Well, let's see. We could use her with that size.
Yeah, one player who could match up size-wise with some of those that Kentucky will put out there.
Absolutely. All right, games have gone final, and Kansas is officially eliminated from the NCAA tournament. They did make a little run, but were held off by St. John's 67-65. So the 4-seed Wildcats are out. Tennessee is leading Virginia 11-52 in the second half, 54-48. Next game to tip is 8:10, Utah State and Arizona. Then 8:45, UCLA, UConn, Texas Tech and Alabama, the nightcapper at 9:45 tonight. Women's game, it looks like the winner of Kentucky and West Virginia will face Texas in Fort Worth, 80-45. Longhorns, no problem with the Ducks. Currently, they've held Oregon to 11 points in the second half thus far. Michigan State, Oklahoma tip at 8. 10 o'clock tonight for Washington and TCU. Kenny Brooks when we come back.
Worried about paying for college? Metro News is proud to present the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to wvmetronews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to wvmetronews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
You want to know what West Virginia is talking about?
It is
to be
great.
back in Morgantown today.
Now it's different.
I
think it's mostly just business.
What I voted for and what I think makes the most sense.
Well, Dave, this has been a bit of a controversy.
I want to thank the caller last week that said I sounded like Hoppy Kercheval. That was flattering.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talkline on Metro News Television.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. Makes you feel defeated. I'm just going to be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not going to be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan proudly supports our active and healthy communities and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
All right, Kentucky women's basketball coach Kenny Brooks, his thoughts on his team's win over James Madison and playing the Mountaineers tomorrow.
I say we're glad to still be here. Very proud of our kids. I thought we had a tremendous performance yesterday. Wasn't always easy, but we got off to a tremendous start, and they were playing very well together. These two to my left, Tony really controlled the tempo of the basketball game, found her teammates, all the while having a balance of scoring. Amelia hit some really good shots. Some really big shots for us to get things open, but I think you have to also credit Amelia's defense on their leading scorer. She did a tremendous job in that. But it was all around effort. Everyone stepped up and had a really good part in the win. And in order for us to advance, we're going to have the same kind of contribution. So we're looking forward to the opportunities.
All right, questions now for our student athletes, Tony Morgan and Amelia Hassett. We'll start here with Greg.
So both of you, but start with you, Tony. West Virginia's defense gets a lot of attention, obviously, the pressure that they play with. Have you seen others that do that? Tennessee, Mississippi? How difficult is that, especially for a point?
Yeah, playing in the league that we do, the SEC, we've seen a lot of pressing defenses, and West Virginia is no different. They play a really good defensive style of play, but I think we're more than prepared with the season we've played so far, so I think we're ready.
Can you wait? Hold on, just a second, Greg. Get the microphone, please. Thank you.
So, how's that impact you when the pressure comes? Do you have to be a pressure release valve? What's your opportunity, responsibility in those things?
Yeah, we talk about breaking the press. We have to all be there. It's not just one person or two people. It's the whole team. So obviously we've been working on that throughout the whole season and just continuing to do that tomorrow.
Down here.
Quinn Roby, WVU Student Radio. So what were your guys' thoughts with the crowd? It was everybody came in for your guys' game yesterday, and now tomorrow it's going to be another big crowd. What was your guys' thoughts behind the energy?
It's exciting, of course. We love to play in a big crowd, but the SEC has a great crowd every night. It's nothing new for us, and we're definitely ready to play in front of a big crowd. We love it.
All right, questions now for Coach Brooks. And we'll start here. Greg, get you the microphone.
Greg Hunter, Blue and Gold News. So follow up what I asked the players in terms of West Virginia's defense. How unique is it? Is it identical to what some of those that you face in the SEC, or they all have little nuanced differences?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to play a 2-2-1 or a full court man or a 1-2-2. That's what everybody runs, but it's just the attitude of it. And some people will do it occasionally. Some people will, try to throw it on you. They're very consistent with what they're going to do throughout the whole basketball game. So we've played teams that have pressed us the majority of the time. Tennessee comes to mind. Even we played in a road game earlier this year. It was a little bit of a different level, obviously, but Marshall, is consistent with their pressing throughout the whole basketball game. So, it's something that you just have to be ready for. I watched the game yesterday, and Miami of Ohio had 15 turnovers, but it felt like 35 turnovers. The turnovers were loud, and they make you take some quick shots sometimes. So we just have to be on guard, the whole game, and we can't let one turnover turn into 2 turnovers, that turns into 3 turnovers, that turns into a bad shot, and then they can get on a run. So they do a very good job with it. They're very good at the pressing part of it. They're very good at understanding where they're going to be, and they play off of each other. So it'll be one of the better presses that we've seen this year. But it's not identical to any press that we've seen, but it's bits and pieces of a lot of them that we've seen.
Go back here to Kevin.
Hi, Coach. Kevin Kinder from the Blue and Gold News. West Virginia's pressure, your height are the 2 obvious storylines. Is there another aspect of this game that you're kind of seeing that might be critical in the outcome?
No, I mean, I think you hit on the 2 probably distinct strengths of each team, and I'm sure they've used their quickness to their advantage, and we've used our height to our advantage a lot of different ways, whether it's been breaking a press or defending the lane. And so obviously we're playing on their home court, and they're going to have a tremendous advantage in that manner. But it's going to be 2 really good teams, have contrasting styles probably a little bit. And, who's going to will their way to win is, just a matter of playing in March and having the right attitude and being able to understand and deal with anything that happens.
All right, I want to take a question from John Raby in the Associated Press, who's on Zoom. John, go ahead.
Coach, just tell us what folks can expect from Clara. And I don't want you to give away all the secrets, but, she's just everywhere on the court, and just talk about her talents and what she's brought to you this year.
She's unbelievable, and Clara will do whatever Clara has to do to help us win a basketball game. When you have a superstar like Clara, a lot of times, they want the basketball all the time, and she wants the basketball. But you take yesterday's game, for instance, it was evident that they were going to double team her every time she touched it, and she's fine with that as long as she can find her teammates and they can step up and they can score. But she's so much more to us than just scoring. She's our leader on the defensive end. She's one of the best defensive players I've ever coached in my life, and not only just because she can block shots, but she really understands, what's going on, and it's not just, her person. She really understands what's going on with other people. She helps out a lot. She quarterbacks our defense, and she's a tremendous player. So I thought she played an exceptional game yesterday, just because they were really trying to get the ball out of her hands, and she didn't force anything. She just let the game come to her, and it helped us get a really good win.
That's Kenny Brooks, Kentucky women's basketball coach, with the final word, at least for tonight, on tomorrow's 5 o'clock massive game for the Mountaineer women's basketball program. We'll take a break, close out the show, and we return.
Answering a text or phone call while driving. Seems pretty harmless, right? But in the 5 seconds you took your eyes off the road to respond, you missed the girl riding her bike across the street. You missed the dog who darted into the road. And you missed the stop sign. And while it was just a ticket this time, it could have been worse. In fact, more than 700 people are injured in distracted driving crashes each day. Keep yourself and others safe. Don't drive distracted. Just drive. This message was brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
You know CityNet is West Virginia's leading technology company. Whether we're managing IT infrastructures, protecting the critical data and networks of our region's businesses, or providing fiber broadband, TV, and phone services, we are your go-to experts. We're also a strong partner in the communities in which we serve. CityNet, your trusted technology partner. Learn more about us, visit citynet.net.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Stay connected to what's happening today in West Virginia.
What about this and what about that? And it just went back and forth. And I was just the guy reading the text. Okay, so what's your take on the whole thing?
Well, now you just get me fired up. Now
Right.
you just
Okay, so
get
I'm
me
gonna
going.
turn on. I'm gonna run down to Wendy's and grab a burger, and I'll be back.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
All right, out of time. We'll have more on the game coming up tomorrow on Metro News Talk Line, Midday and Hotline. Tip off at 5 o'clock. The boys, of course, will follow the second half on Sportsline tomorrow night at 6:06. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll talk to you again next Sunday nights. Thanks for joining us on the Sunday Night Sportsline.
From the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline is an exclusive production of the Metro News Radio Network. All rights reserved.